Hi, spots and cheap pops, ladies and gentlemen, it is me, Steve Valli, and of course, we are now just days away, mere days, hours away from what they have been calling the biggest wrestling show of all time. Not sure if I agree with that, but it's certainly historical in its own right. AEW All In. And Vladi, are you ready to go toe-to-toe, mano-a-mano, with a one-match lead? You had a 4-match lead just 3 pay-per-views ago. And now you're in my sight, and the Purple Nurple Championship is coming back to Silicon Steve Valli.
If you dream it, anything can happen. So I give you credit, man. But we both know how this is going to end.
Well, they haven't been good. We've been close going into pretty much every event, and you always destroy me in the last event. That's what's been going on recently. You'd have a 1-match lead, or we had a 2-match lead, or what have you, and we would either be dead tied, or we would have the same picks, or you just beat me by 3 matches. I think like twice. Like it wasn't even close. Taking my glasses.
Yeah.
But here we go. All In is going to be the final match, and then we're going to have a restart the very following week with All Out. But All In, here we go. We're between 1 match. If it's a tie, then keep your championship for yet another quarter.
Good luck to you.
So, Vladi, we're going to start with the bottom of the card. We're going to start with 0 Hour, and we're off.
So let's start with 0 Hour, and we have the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship match. We have MJF and Adam Cole, baby, against Aussie Open. Who are you going to go with here? And this is the table setter of the entire evening.
Absolutely, Aussie Open is going to win this match. There's no way Adam Cole and MJF would even need a Ring of Honor championship. That's the first part. But the big thing, obviously, is what's going to happen after that. What's going to happen after that match where I predict MJF gets pinned for a second time and Adam Cole turns on him then and there. The only thing I'm wondering is, how does the Kingdom fall into play? We heard 2 different times we're going to see the real Adam Cole at the end of Sunday night. We also heard Adam Cole say that I want to thank MJF for finding the real me. Remember, he came back as a babyface against MJF, and MJF reignited the real Adam Cole. We also remember where they really connected for the first time when they both told Tony Schiavone to shut up simultaneously. Adam Cole laughing at every one of MJF's really fucked up jokes about Tay Conti's child. I don't think it's even a question at this point in time. Adam Cole definitely turns on MJF. I think he does it here. Now, I just don't know if the Kingdom gets involved now or do they get involved in the championship match. But I do believe Aussie Open wins this one. Yeah.
And we have our first disagreement of the night.
What?
I chose MJF and Adam Cole.
Okay. That's wild.
Reason being,
Go ahead.
Adam Cole's never been the Ring of Honor champion, a tag team champion as of yet, right? He mentioned that in his one speech recently. So no matter what happens in the main event, he's a winner for the night. He's won the tag team championship, right? And also, no matter what happens in the main event, it still forces them to be together. That's my feeling that what they're going to do here. So you stretch out the storyline further with them.
I don't think they're putting the Ring of Honor tag titles on their television program that often anymore. Ring of Honor has its own entity going on right now. So I don't know if I agree with you. I that's almost a layup. Of all the matches, I'm shocked by your pick would be this one. I think I just tied you right out of the chute. That is incredible for me. I'm excited. We're tied going into the main card. All right.
We'll see what happens, man. I'm feeling confident.
Aussie Open is one of the best in the business. They've been making a name for themselves as a tag team. I think it flies in the face of how Tony Khan and a lot of wrestling purists who like the booking that Tony does in certain aspects, I think it flies in the face of having them win those titles. And also, again, I don't think Tony's done a good job of keeping the Ring of Honor stuff off of AEW. Yeah, you sometimes have a tag match here or maybe a Samoa Joe match here, but overall,
Samoa Joe, yeah.
But overall, Samoa Joe doesn't defend the Ring of Honor championship all that often. Usually that's happening on the Ring of Honor program and on the Ring of Honor pay-per-views. So that's why I'm saying I don't think they do that. Also, it's Ring of Honor.
It's a tag title that he's never had before.
And MJF also said in his promo, it's kind of weird how he made me want to wrestle twice, but I love him anyway. Don't you find it interesting Adam Cole set all that up? And don't you find it, I don't know. I just don't know if I agree, but we'll see what happens. I definitely don't agree, actually. I definitely know that I don't agree. I think it's a layup. I'm shocked at that, at your pick.
It's okay. You've been plenty wrong before.
You're right.
Let's go to the next match.
Go ahead.
You'll be enjoying this one. Hey, when you think All In and Kenny Omega, you think trios match. So we got the trios match. Kenny Omega, everyone's favorite millennial cowboy. Eye roll, please. Adam Page and the Golden Lover himself, Kota Ibushi, against Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Takeshita, right? Is it Kaneshka? Takeshita? I was totally butchering that, but I think I was close. Takeshita. So that's who. Yeah, but I tried pronouncing his first name. I'm like, is it Kaneshka or my Japanese is? Pardon me.
Isn't it Kensuke?
Yeah, Konosuke.
Yeah, Kensuke. Kensuke. Hey, look, I covered G1 for a website last year.
Oh, yeah.
So I know how
anybody knows the correct, it's you. So you going first, you want me to go?
I actually originally picked the Bullet Club and Christian Cage folks. But I think the Elite win this one. Just because it's a Bushi's second match. I really hate to do that, though. Just because also I'm thinking you're seeing Hangman drink a beer for the first time, but I think he's got to get some positive momentum going for them to go down that road. So yeah, I'm going to pick the Elite. I'm going to change my pick that I originally said, and I'm going to go with the Elite.
It's funny, man. My original pick was the Elite, and I went to the Bullet Club Gold.
Who's wrestling in Bullet Club Gold? It's Jay White, Juice Robinson, and who else?
Takeshita.
I can't see any of them. See, Juice Robinson would have to take another loss. He's taken a lot of those. You're probably. I think I just gave you that one back.
It's a good. I can just see like Jay White having a good moment here.
Pinning Kenny,
being like maybe, yeah. I mean, it's and maybe it's with Callis cheating or something. You know what I mean? And they're able to pull it off. But I just think it's Bullet Club is going to have this one is a coin toss really to me.
I think it's just the beginning. I'm going to stick with the Elite. That one's a toss-up. I agree with you. But this one is another disagreement, and we've already had two in a row. This is incredible, Vladi Dottie.
This is nuts.
This is crazy. This is really going to be an interesting final pay-per-view of this quarter. Anyway, what is next, Vladi?
We're going to see Chris Jericho perform his own ring entrance music, singing Judas with Fozzy, where Freddie Mercury, Mick Jagger, all the legends have played, and now they finally have Chris Jericho there singing amongst 80,000 K.
Chris Jericho living his best life, man. That's all you can say about the guy. You can hate him all you want, but the fact that that's going to be a feather in his cap that he will say, I'm on the same stage as Freddie Mercury and Phil Collins.
Exactly. Live Aid, 1985. Chris Jericho, Judas. So he's going to use it in promos, and it's going to be sort of amusing when he does to me. But it's such a slap on the back, just all about me moment. And you know what? Before because I know who we're both picking here, that promo by Ospreay was great.
Will Ospreay is a treasure in this business. And next year, everyone's going to know a lot more about him.
And you know what, man? He was fired up. It was honest. It was a good, really good promo by him. And then what was great is they turned the microphone over to Jericho, who feels the need to take off his shirt. And then after he takes off his shirt, he starts telling you how we have this awesome wrestler in front of us with all the 5-star matches that you could throw like a rock at this point and not miss them, because every time the guy steps in the ring is pretty much 5 stars. And somehow Jericho tries to take credit for it. He's like,
it was kind of a heel move, wasn't it?
I'm like,
the babyface?
Yeah, I'm like, and he's so confused about it. It's like, who's the guy that called you? I told you had to take it easy. And here you are. Now you're wrestling Chris Jericho in Wembley. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you like forced your way into this. We get it.
Yeah, and we wanted like 10 other people other than you, Jericho.
Yeah. You were
for
like
the record, nobody wanted this match, Jericho. And by the way, I love Jericho, and I give him much more slack than you do, at least the last 2 years. Hey, look, the guy's living his best life. He's got himself in a position of great power within a company still. And is he in the way? Yeah. He's following the footsteps of Hogan, of pretty much most of the top guys ever. Hogan, Flair, this goes on, of guys that stayed a lot longer and kept younger guys down. It's part of the territory with a lot of guys, and Chris Jericho is one of those guys.
Yeah.
And hey, it's his will. Wife was a January 6th.
So in regards to this match, you're going with Ospreay, right?
Absolutely. I don't think it's even a question.
Let me ask you this. All right, I agree with you. I'm picking Ospreay too. I thought it was sort of like a little unique that Sammy was out there with Jericho, and at no point did he and like Ospreay like come into like contact with each other at that point. And I'm like, And he was like playing up, hey, I'm his friend sort of thing. I'm wondering if Sammy goes and joins the Callis family.
Wow. I mean, that would be a coup. And that would be an ultimate betrayal to Jericho. That's a great move. If they haven't thought of it, Vladi, I think that's a great way to go with it. Brilliant. Yeah, even though I feel like maybe Sammy's bigger value is as a babyface, but never maybe a somewhat top heel run, maybe not a championship run, but a top heel run for a little while, and then turns on Callis and then becomes a babyface. Because I think the crowd organically really loves Sammy.
They do.
They want to cheer for him when he's not making out with his gorgeous wife.
Right. And she's going to be away for a while and all that. So maybe, it is, but I was like, man, there was like no contact between them. And it's like, why was he like you had security out there anyways. It's one-on-one between, pretty much one-on-one out there as it is. Like, I thought it was like odd that they went and made sure that was all happening before that sign, but I could be wrong.
Well, the other part is they could just be planting seeds that Sammy Guevara is still sticking with Jericho, and he was the only one that did.
Yeah.
But you did see earlier in the night with that, you saw Guevara with 2.0, and they're saying, hey, you know what Jericho is? He's a piece of shit, whatever. Why would you do this? He said whatever. And Guevara sounded like a babyface, said, hey, look, I got to stick with my friend, guys. But that would be incredible, and it would be ironic. And honestly, would anyone really blame Sammy Guevara for that?
No.
Out there. And then you could build him up a little bit more of as a heel, but it's tricky because I think people are kind of over Jericho, and I think people want to cheer for Sammy. But if they're good at what they do, as MJF showed you, if you're good at what you do, you'll get the crowd to do whatever the hell you want.
Right.
So
and correct me if I'm wrong, like, but Will Ospreay has not confirmed that he's a part of the Don Callis family at this point, right?
I don't believe so. I don't know. I've never heard him be called a member of the Don Callis family, but there has been a lot of situations where leading to believe that that might be the case. It was, obviously with Forbidden Door and now just the recent events.
The reason I ask is he was wearing a United Empire jersey on the way out.
Yes, he was. Absolutely.
So it's almost like he's like, you know what? I'm still with my guys and myself, and he's just arranging this, if you will.
And Don Callis did help him win the United States Championship in New Japan at Forbidden Door. So there is that connection. And you see Callis is kind of floating. Don't forget, he manipulated and used the Blackpool Combat Club, the invisible hand Don Callis. So he's having a pretty decent run as a manager. But I think any tales of comparisons to Paul Heyman were probably a little premature a couple years back. I know.
Yeah, I'd say that. But he draws heat really well for them.
Oh, yeah.
People hate as soon as he gets on that microphone, that AEW crowd hates him. They're like,
which annoys me because I want to hear him cut a decent promo without having to stop every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like
he milks it a little bit too. It's good like that.
Oh, no, he does. But I've noticed a couple of his promos lost a little bit because he didn't deliver the lines in a way that was more impactful because the crowd was booing so much. Yeah. So I think he's got to be look. God forbid I'm going to tell Don Callis how to cut a fucking promo. The guy's brilliant. But I'm just saying that's something that I would prefer is if he was able to cut one of his promos without having to interact with all that booing. But I guess you're getting you're getting that reaction. It's a good thing. But sometimes I want to hear a good promo. When I hear a what chant or something like that, when I just want to hear someone cut a promo. What?
Yeah.
It's,
It's rude at this point.
It's disrespectful.
Yeah. So speaking of disrespect, we got a coffin match involving Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage, who tore into Darby Allin's buddy and his father passing and everything else. It's just Christian has become that guy. Where if you have a weakness of the loss of a father, he's on that like stink on shit.
It's like he said, "Hey, don't you have a father?" He started with that.
He's like, oh, yeah, here we go.
Right. It's like, not again. It's almost cheap heat, but it's not because it's so funny. It's so effed up. But you've got a father. Oh, yeah, he was a wrestler, too. The only thing is I never heard of him. Because he was a loser. Just like...
You hear the grumbling.
We've already said a lot of nice things about Christian Cage recently, but he just continues to shine. Really outstanding promo again last night.
Yes. So thankfully he's in this match, and then of course it's Sting and Darby Allin with it being a coffin match. Tons of heat between Darby and Swerve. Swerve is really a vicious heel at this point, and like it's an odd sort of pairing by pushing Christian Cage into this match, but I get it. It's a little bit of a bigger name than AR Fox, and I gotta say on Dynamite, the whole Darby making up with AR Fox, I thought was a bit quick, rushed. This AR Fox was part of the complete assault against his little buddy. It was just like, oh, okay, we're friends again. You did a lot for me, even though you stabbed me in the back recently.
Oh, it did seem a bit rushed. A promo probably wasn't needed. You could have done that in a backstage segment later in the night or even over the weekend.
Yeah,
but it's whatever. I'm not going to kill that. But back to Swerve, I think he's been absolutely brilliant. He's been fantastic. He's been one of the top heels, in my estimation. He's done, in terms of the work he's done in the ring, one of the top heels with pretty much almost anything he's been given. And he's done a good job of pivoting if something's not working, like it didn't with the two big tattooed cats, the Brock Lesnar kid, forget his name, and the other guy.
Yeah.
He pivoted, and now what he's doing right now is working. And you got a heater with Brian Cage. You got a scrawny little manager that'll go along with whatever he says. So I love Swerve, and he's a great in-ring worker too. No wonder Hit Row's nothing without Swerve, and I never knew Hit Row period before Swerve left. Anyway,
Right.
I could see maybe they're cool if Swerve was there, but
and the thing is that from what I recall in NXT, Swerve was like definitely should have been the star, but they were concentrating on the other guy more.
Top Dollar,
like, no, not Top Dollar, the other smaller guy,
Adrian Adonis.
Rocky Johnson.
No, well, no, his name is something Adonis, if I'm not mistaken.
I forget.
Yeah, it's irrelevant.
So
that's how relevant. Without
they really backed the wrong horse in that relationship, because they could have put Swerve on, SmackDown or Raw, and he would have been a unique villain to put out there in front of people. And he's athletically gifted, and he's pretty damn good. And you know what? Honestly, it's like just like Darby ending up at AEW. It's all for the best that Swerve is there. That's in his wheelhouse. He can do whatever the hell he wants. He's there with friends and guys that he's familiar working with, and he's a hard worker. So
love him.
Worked out for him.
But he's wrestling Sting on a pay-per-view. So
bingo. So we're going the same way there, right?
Sting and Darby wins this one.
Bingo. Me too. So from there, there's a stadium here involved at Wembley. And what does that mean? If there's a stadium, there must be a stampede.
Which is just going to be an arena in a stadium. But okay.
But it's spelled differently. So you have Orange Cassidy, everybody's favorite, the best friends. Good old Eddie Kingston, Penta, El Cerro, Miedo, and
what was that?
Miedo. El Cerro, Miedo.
I'll allow it.
And a mystery partner. You love mysteries. Against Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Santana, who looked like he was ready to rock and roll. Definitely has been hitting the gym, that guy, man. He looked huge. Ortiz, and another mystery partner.
No, it's a 5-on-5. Are you sure? I don't think there's mystery partners. Just 5-on-5.
Just 5-on-5. Okay, this was from Bleacher Report themselves. But it doesn't matter in the end of it. So.
I think the Blackpool Combat Club wins this one. They need a win.
Absolutely.
And those guys are mostly mid-carders. I mean,
yeah.
But BCC needs a win. So I don't want to spend too much time on this match. So I don't know if you do. Be welcome to wax philosophical on Jon Moxley in another no disqualification match.
I can only wonder if Tax will be involved. What about Glass? Will he bleed? I don't ever know.
Whatever. I'm sure. Well, luckily, Wild Thing will be playing for 25 minutes.
Oh my God, you're right.
That's the best part about it, friend. Hopefully, they have the guy in blackface out again. That was a big hit last time. Even though I still contend, because it was completely black, it wasn't really blackface, and the red represented a ball gag. See? Now I have to show that picture when you.
You're dying to show it.
Well, the joke's going to work. You don't get the joke now, but it's going to work on the video.
I get it. So, next match, Real World's Championship match. CM Punk, the actual real champion, against Samoa Joe.
I think CM Punk wins that one as well. I don't think he loses. Yeah, not a lot here. I'm not a big fan of this match on this card, but I'm sure it's going to be good, but it's not going to be the same. CM Punk just can't go like he could 20 years ago or 17 years ago. None of us can. And I think they're trying to recapture something that's not there anymore. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I think it'll be a serviceable match. It's not going to be anything. It's not going to be the top 3 matches of the night, but it'll be good. There'll be good crowd reactions.
It'll be professional.
Yes. And you know what? The crowd will be going back and forth because a lot of people like Joe as well. He's very over. He's a great villain in what he does, and then CM Punk can play the same way. I mean, both of those guys are like masters of just messing with the crowd, and it's going to be great seeing them have 80,000 people in the palm of their hands. So, that's what that match is going to be special in that manner. But yeah, CM Punk for the win as well here. Let's move on to another championship match, the AEW Trios Championship match, where we have the Acclaimed and the return of Badass Billy Gunn against the House of Black.
I hate to say this, but I sadly am going to take the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. Just because I think this whole story of Billy Gunn coming back, the whole nine, I think Billy gets his championship that he was trying to get before. They said it prior. They finally put some work in where they got some matches under their belt. They have a storyline. They probably could have paid a little more attention to the storyline, but it's a good storyline nonetheless. And I think they beat the House of Black here.
I went with the House of Black.
Of course you did. Because it's a smart move.
And you know what? One of the reasons I did go that way was that there was that recent vignette in Mexico where what's his name? The guy from Dark Order was down there with one of the luchadors, and Jose, the assistant, was there. So to me, that felt like Andrade's doing something, or I'm sure it involves Roosh, the return of him. And probably they're going to pick up a third guy, and I'm thinking that they'll probably come after the House of Black together with the belts on the line.
Well, I can House of Black winning. I can see the House of Black winning the titles back again. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll say.
Yeah. So I don't know. I that's one of the reasons I chose them. So, hey, we have another championship match here. AEW World Women's Championship with Shida, Britt Baker, Saraya, and Toni Storm in a fatal four-way. This is one of the ones that I was like, you can flip a coin at. Yep.
I'm going to go with Saraya just because she's British.
That is the moment they're totally going to go for. She hasn't. They made a movie about her life already. This just adds to it with an AEW chapter. That place.
Crowd's not going to give a fuck, by the way.
The crowd's going to go nuts.
Really, you think? I don't know.
Absolutely.
It is her hometown.
Absolutely. Her mom and dad will be there. Like, this is going to be like they've been wrestling like the indies, and this is huge. And I don't think you can go and step over that moment.
But she's not a very over heel.
The women's division isn't over at all, so it doesn't matter.
Terrible. They don't give.
That's another reason to do it.
And the thing is, it's a catch-22 because they don't draw. Every time he puts women on there, they don't draw. But he tries to throw them all in matches. You got to build their characters up. Why was Dr. Britt Baker the only one who ever really got over? There's one reason. She's had to sit out for 6 months with a busted leg building her character. She was on TV every single week building her character, and the crowd fell in love with her. And by the time she came back, she was over like Rover, and then she's the champion and probably the most dominant woman in the history of AEW because she had the opportunity to do the character work during the pandemic with a broken leg. They have not done that at all in the women's division with anybody else to that extent. And they wonder why the division's not over. It's not because the women aren't good. It's not because they're not good wrestlers. It's not even because they're not good actresses. It's because you don't develop their characters. And you have too much talent and not enough time on television to build these characters so people to see it. So it's really it's going to be a very hard thing to pull off because to invest time in it, you have to also take the fact that they don't draw and people turn the channel.
It's true. And then, then there's the thought too that maybe Jade Cargill appears here again. So, but I just think they're going to give her Saraya that moment. I think Tony Khan's going to be like the happiest mark in the place when that happens. I think the place will erupt.
It'll be a nice moment for him.
But yeah, so we went the same way there. Let's go to another championship match. This one you gotta love. AEW World Tag Team Championship. The most awesome champions that have ever stepped into an AEW ring. FTR versus the Young Bucks. The EVPs. Everyone's favorite reason to change the channel. So I'll go first. Young Bucks.
Your reasoning, Vladi.
Because they're the EVPs, and when they signed the dotted line, they said, Tony, this means we're winning the tag team championship from FTR, right? He said, yeah, of course. That's the reasoning.
Well, that was not a reason why I think they would be considered the winners or be picked to be the winners. It was what started getting me to think the Bucks will win was Cash Wheeler's revelation that he pistol whipped somebody seemingly.
That's not true. He just showed it to them. And by the way,
sounded like he pistol whipped him.
No. You're a dirt sheet writer now. This is bullshit.
The guy probably deserved it. I can't see Cash Wheeler seems like a nice guy. I can't see him doing that for no reason.
But the plaintiff in the case, all they did was they took a picture of his Jeep. So I mean, it's his word against Cash's word. Did Cash actually have a gun there? I don't know. Did the cops catch him with one? I don't know.
We got to get Jack Smith on this case.
Tony Khan might get him involved. You never know. He's got that sort of money.
He'll be inducted into the AEW Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Can you hold off on that other indictment? Cash Wheeler got in trouble. All right, I'll be right there.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about that one. Well, that was one of the reasons why I would think usually you punish a guy. The old school thought is if someone gets into trouble and causes the embarrassment of the company, they get punished by losing. They job out. So that's what I started thinking. Okay, it's got to be the Young Bucks. But then I started thinking, the Young Bucks don't deserve it. And I don't think Tony Khan thinks they deserve it. I also don't think it makes sense business-wise to put it on the Young Bucks at this point in time. I think FTR has been at the top of their game now for damn near 2 years. And prior to that, they built a ridiculous legacy as the Revival in NXT. They are the best tag team in the world, and they've been a lot better than the Young Bucks for a long time now. So I don't think the Bucks, especially after not really showing you that they are still an elite tag team, I don't think Tony Khan pulls the trigger. I think he keeps them on FTR because there's a lot of stories to be told with FTR. Flip side is FTR's had those championships for a while now, and they've had a lot of great matches on top of it. So it might be the right time, but I'm going to go with FTR because I think they deserve the win here. And I think it's the right thing to do.
That's one where I hope you're right. However, I don't have any faith, and I think those weasels are going to walk out of England with those titles.
And why is that?
Because they're the EVPs.
That's right.
I mean,
well, you have a lot. Is that the fourth or fifth?
It definitely doesn't have to do with their ability to cut a promo.
Nick Jackson can't do that. I don't know what's going on with Nick Jackson.
Cash just glazed right over it. He's like, I'm not going to even give that the time of day. I was like, yes.
I feel like I know it was it wasn't live, but I feel like Dax said a lot more than what got airs because it seemed like there was some editing early. And Matt Jackson was a real dick. Nick Jackson was actually pretty nice. Matt Jackson was a dick.
Complete dick. He was a big timer. Hey, I'm the boss. We're the reason you're here. We named you in our stupid little YouTube show. I mean, you know what it really reminded me of? It was like watching two teenagers try to argue with two men.
I thought Matt Jackson did a great job to get me pissed off at Matt Jackson and the Young Bucks. But what he said had truth to it. And if anyone doesn't know, the story is how FTR came about. Cody Rhodes on a weekly basis on their show, and Cody Rhodes made that show at its peak. That's when that show was at its best, when Cody Rhodes was a weekly contributor. Phenomenal, hilarious, funny, and just made the show fantastic. Just shout out to Cody. That said, Cody would say, fuck the Revival every single week on BTA. Fuck the Revival. Fuck the Revival. They would do super kicks, and they would all say, fuck the Revival. It was a thing. And then, of course, they started saying the Revival. Vince McMahon's like, no. Cease and desist. And then they started saying FTR, which is the irony of all this. Cody Rhodes, for the most part, named them more than anyone. I don't know if they said FT. I don't think he said FTR on the show. I think someone else came up with FTR. I think it was either Nick or Matt. And then they changed it to Roman Reigns, FTRR. Wow. When Roman Reigns said something mean about Cody.
Wow. But getting back to it, Cody's the one that named him, so that also makes Matt Jackson a liar.
Well, no, he said they're named by their YouTube channel. And Cody's I think one of them, and like I said before, I think one of them came up with FTR to say that instead of fuck the Revival. So there could be truth to it in either way you look at it. So I wouldn't go that way. And I know you want any indictment of their character as possible because you hate Christians, so it's fine.
It has zero to do with their religion. It has everything just to do with
you don't hate Christians either. That was a joke, obviously. I might have to edit that out. I'm not sure. I thought it was a clear, obvious joke. But it is 2023.
Yeah. So, yeah, Bucks. I take the Bucks. You take the Revival. We can't say that. So, FTR.
Vince McMahon's going to be hounding us after he gets out of his back surgery.
Yeah. So then we have the final match.
Here we go. MJF, Adam Cole, baby.
There you go. And you want to go first? Or you want me?
I forget who I took.
I took MJF.
Yeah, me too. I bounce back and forth with Adam Cole, but I think the Adam Cole heel turn happens in the first match or in the 0 hour, and then MJF is going to be banged up, and he's going to have that moment where he fought through, and the crowd helped cheer him on. His last promo was ridiculously babyface and over the top as a babyface, showed some vulnerability. Conversely, when Renee Young, dude, you see Renee Young stirring the shit pot? This was one of the best nights of Renee Young's career, by the way. She was all over this episode and did a great job everywhere. She almost got smacked by Eddie Kingston. It was great.
He grabbed her.
Yo, bitch! What you want me to go fix that, bitch? I'm Eddie Kingston, bitch. Yeah.
He moved her arm. It's over the top, Eddie.
I think Jon Moxley already made his decision on that. So it's all good. But yes. What is your feeling on the MJF match? I think MJF wins because I think he's going to have that seminal moment at Wembley Stadium where he's the top guy. I don't think Adam Cole deserves it. And MJF has had a monumental title run so far. It started off very, very slow and really picked up shortly after the Ricky Stark stuff. And he's really done the exact opposite of what Hangman Adam Page did. He has solidified his spot as an absolute top guy in the company. If there were any doubts. Adam Cole, can you say that? No. I'm sorry, not Adam Cole. Hangman Adam Page with his world championship. Can you say that? No. What Adam Page did is he had a Miz run where he's probably not going to be a world champion anytime soon, if ever again. Whereas MJF showed you that he is a top guy, and he's not a top guy that's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I think MJF deserves this moment.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be an awesome moment. And do you think he's going to win it like a babyface, or do you think he's going to revert to his old ways?
I think he cheats to win because he's still a scumbag, but he's our scumbag. And he'll probably do it after the Kingdom gets involved. I wholeheartedly believe the Kingdom is going to be Adam Cole's new faction, where he is going to be in charge. And it's a great faction. Michael Bennett is a phenomenal talent, great dude. And so is, forgot his name, but he was a Ring of Honor. Matt Taven, yeah. They are that's a fantastic faction. If you add generic white guy, and you have three of them, it's going to be great. They were all generic white guys in Undisputed Era, though, weren't they?
Yeah, the verdict is still out for the Kingdom for me. I got to see where this goes.
They're good. You'll like what they do. They know Maria. And it's great for and it's a good faction for Adam Cole. He can be the biggest.
Where's Maria?
Partner. What's up?
Where's Maria?
Taking care of her babies. She got a couple kids. Leave her alone.
She's still part of it.
Well, maybe she's knocked up. I don't know.
Is that the only thing that she would be involved in?
Maybe she doesn't want any on-screen situations right now. I have no idea. I don't know. I didn't do I'm sorry. I didn't do my Maria Kanellis research before coming on this podcast tonight. My bad.
But inquiring minds, they got to pick up on this. Why would she be not involved so far?
I think she's taking some time away from the camera. That would be my only deduction. I don't think it was a conscious thing where let's keep her off screen. I think it was intentional. She's doing something. She's busy. What's the point of speculating? Neither one of us have a goddamn clue.
Yeah.
And is she that big of a star to even really speculate about?
She's a bigger star than Mike Bennett.
Certainly more attractive.
She's very active on Instagram, by the way. She has a lot of time for the camera.
Maybe I should get back on Instagram. Anywho, so your thought so MJF is going to have that moment. How the hell did we spend 5 minutes on Maria Kanellis is beyond me. But
that was just a general question.
No, it's a funny conversation. But yeah, I think MJF has his seminal moment. You agree with it too? And we'll see where we go. But overall, Vladi, we had, I think, 4 or 5 different matches this time around.
Yeah. So this is going to be a difference maker.
It's interesting. It's going to be anyone's ballgame. It is literally anyone's ballgame. Usually we only have 1 or 2 differences, sometimes 3.
Yep.
This is massive. So we can go down the list here. I picked Aussie Open. You did not.
That's your first mistake.
Well, I disagree. I picked the Elite, didn't I? Or did you?
You picked the Elite. I got Bullet Club.
Cool. And I originally picked the Bang Bang Gang. We both picked Soraya. We both picked Ospreay. I picked FTR. You picked the Young Bucks. And I picked MJF. So I think we only have, is that 3 different or 4 different?
House of Black and the Acclaimed.
House of Black and the Acclaimed are different as well. Yeah, I don't think they put all this effort into Billy Gunn retiring unless they give him a nice moment at Wembley Stadium. I think you're going to have a lot of baby faces, and then they're going to have a lot of heels win next weekend. That's where we're at. Overall, I think it's going to be a hell of a show. It's going to be a fun show. I'm going to be watching it live with a couple of friends out in Whitehall, Pennsylvania. We're going to be kicking back a couple of nachos and maybe a beer. A lot of carbs, though. We'll say. But it's a historic night. It's going to be an historic event. And I just hope it really lives up to all of the hype. And I really hope that the energy is kept because it's going to be a long night. We're looking at about a 5 or 6 hour show, it looks like. At least a 5-hour show, anyway. And incredible energy is going to be needed. So everyone, pace yourself, who's going to be out there. 80,000 of you strong, probably closer to 81,000 by the time the gate opens. And an exciting time and a great monumental moment for AEW and all the people involved. A lot of hard work came into building this from what it was, 4 or 5 years ago. And what it is now, and started with a dream. And who would have thought a wrestling company in 2023, if you asked 5 years ago if a wrestling company would be able to pack 81,000 people into a venue that wasn't WWE, you'd say I was full of shit. It happened. So God bless everybody that had something to do with it, if you believe in God, Vladi.
Yeah, you got to take a look at this spectacle that's on the horizon here. This is a major deal, and this can't be undersold. This is not like just a flash in the bucket. It is a serious move in terms of popular culture, where you have this company that isn't a billion-dollar corporation that everybody's accustomed to, that is able to draw that many people in one of the most famous stadiums on the planet. So, congratulations, Tony Khan, AEW, everybody that's on that roster, that's in that show. I hope they have a great show. They can really, really just make history and do something completely unforgettable. I hope they do. So, should be a hell of a time. Looking forward to it.
All right, well, that's what we got for you guys. All in predictions are in the book. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the professional wrestling. Don't forget, you also got SmackDown. You have Collision. And then, of course, Sunday, 1 o'clock start for AEW All In on pay-per-view. Not Broken Skull. Bleacher Report, or I think Fight TV. Check it out. I mean, I'm not going to plug them anymore. But I'll plug us. Hit the subscribe button here, watching High Spots and Cheap Pops for Vladi. This is Silicon Steve Valley, and here ended the lesson.